right. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU, band culture, music education, and more. It has been a really, really long time since we've been on here. Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and say this right off the top. Uh, you know, we were having a lot of technical difficulties. We were trying to get this thing together. That's really what happened. Hence the reason why it took so long. We had an echo situation, and in that process, we were just trying to get it all together. But we here, we in the room, we got it going. So there we go. Don't forget, you can stop by the store, pick up anything that you want in the store. Even this little sweet T-shirt that just says HBCU band on it, and it's written in the style of HBO Max. Yeah, man. Well, it ain't HBO Max no more. Now it's just Max.
Yes.
And now that they made it gray too, so whatever. But I mean, you can still pick it up though. It's all in the store, man. You can get 30% off the purchase.
What's a gray too?
Huh? It's gray.
Oh, it's gray. Oh,
Yeah, it's gray. Yeah, Max made it gray. But anyway, yeah, you can get 30% off purchase. All you got to do is type in HBCU band, man. So I want to go ahead and do this. I'm gonna start this off early. I'm gonna be that guy. I know that you all know this guy who was on the show. He has been a part of this platform for a very long time. But on top of that, though, I just want to introduce you all to my frat brother, Tom's Trey. Oh, don't do that. That looked bad.
it's 3. Wow.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, they do that too. They do that too. But the newest member. There we go. The newest
3.
member of
3.
Kappa Psi National Honorary Band Fraternity Incorporated. Everybody, give it up for Quano.
Oh man, yeah, it's really good to finally say AEA, bro. It's been 17 long years, bro. 17 years of seeing people get in. 17 years of people who we gonna just stay positive, but 17 people, 17 years. I've seen people. I was like, they got in, But hey, my time was my time, So I bless God. I'm in. Shout out to my chapter Delta Alpha, and I'm just gonna continue to live the work and do what I'm supposed to do in the name of the fraternities that we're in. Kappa Kappa Psi, Phi Mu Alpha. Holding the name up high, all of that good stuff. So your boy finally in. They set your boy free after 17 years.
And so I actually want to go on record by saying, originally, we were going to purposefully miss the episode because we were going to wait until after you crossed over. But then I got sick, and then it was like, so it didn't happen anyway. But yeah, we were actually kind of saving a show for that moment. So it ended up happening a little different than what we wanted and expected, but it's all good because we're still here. And so I can say AEA to my brother. I'm gonna be honest. I slipped him an AEA before he finished. So I already knew it was going down. So I just go ahead and give it to you early. Pause. So so I got to do what I got to do, man. But no, I am surely excited and happy, and I told you I'm gonna try to send you something.
Oh, and I to all my viewers and frat brothers and people who just love Quano, if you want to send me something, you're more than welcome to send it to my job. I could put, I can put my job address in it, and hey, just bless your boy. I'm new. So hey, at the end of the day, you know, shoot your boy some apparel. I will wear it on the show. I'm not going to be a t-shirt wearer because I'm a worker. So I'm excited, bro. I'm just blessed. So, yeah.
And I mean, to be very honest, you were a worker before the organization, and you're going to be a worker after the organization. I mean, the truth of the matter is that I truly believe that you The organization, you earn the organization. You do the work, and so I truly believe that you earned it. Um, so yeah, we can go a lot of different ways into that, but we gonna kind of just drop it off right there because of the fact. Now, here's the other reality of the situation. We were actually going to also come on and talk about the more recent situations that had been going on in the city of Houston as far as it related to mass ban. If you did not see my LBR, then you probably saw his LBR. And the goal was to get back on and talk about it that following Wednesday, but your boy got sick, and so it just didn't happen. Matter of fact, it was so bad. He called. It was like, "Yo, we doing this," and I was like, "It depends on how I feel, bro." And so and honestly, I had gotten substantially worse that night after we talked.
Yeah.
So the goal right now is to bring up and have that conversation that we didn't have and get into some more mass ban stuff that's going to be taking place over the summer. And so just to kind of recap and bring it back into everything that was going on, and Kuan, you can kind of fill in a couple of spaces where I may be missing some things here, but there was just a lot going on as it related to Houston mass band, Hum, Greater Houston All-Star Band, and apparently there was another band program or mass band program that was kind of coming up out of the woodworks. And from what I'm to understand, there was communication about the fact of, well, they decided to start this organization, or not organization, well, yeah, organization. They decided to start this group by taking away from other groups, and then it became a conversation of so many people, or people feel as though there's too many mass bands in the city of Houston, and so that's kind of where that conversation came from. And then I went so far as to just kind of give my 2 cents, and giving it from a perspective, and I like to be very clear, giving it from a perspective of the fact that I haven't been in the city for a long time, right? But I keep my ear to the ground of what's going on. And then the other half of that is, as a product of the city, I can tell you right now that there are just some things that I have witnessed on my end. And so I decided to put my thoughts into it. And then because Kuan is there in the city and, an active band director in HISD, he also gave his thought process. And so I think I said everything. I know he had to step away for a quick second, but I think I covered everything. So what I wanted to do real quick is I actually wanted to go and look at some of the comments that I had on some of those posts, because it was really interesting to me to see some of the thoughts that people had, and we're going to talk about it, get into it. And so let me go ahead and I'm going to pull mine first, and then we're going to pull Quan's second and look at some of the comments that we had, and then we're going to talk about it. All right. So here we go. One of the comments that really disturbed, or not, I ain't gonna say really disturbed me, but one of the comments was, dang, what happened to him? Did he go? There we go. All right. Anyway, so one of the comments, and let's see, here we go. HN408 said Houston is big enough to have two mass bands, one on the north side, one on the south side, and the surrounding areas to each side. They probably should skew the way New Orleans and Mississippi does it, where it's mostly college students and high school alumni that didn't go to college. I honestly don't think that's a bad idea. Quan, what are your thoughts on that? And did I miss anything as far as the explanation of the situation?
So my screen went out. Just give me a quick sentence about the synopsis of everything you said.
Basically, I just went over, 3 mass bands coming up in the city of Houston. Some people think there's too many mass bands in the city, and then the thought process of the mass band popping up and somebody from the original mass band taking the names and giving it over to somebody else, and that's kind of the quickest way I could I can say it.
Okay. So let me be honest. We're an unfiltered show. So I'm in the field, right? So and not only in the field, I'm in the trenches here in the city of Houston. So let me give you certain things. And this is not from just my experience for what I've seen, but this is also from the people, some of the people that were there. All right. For those that don't know, like I said, I teach at Worthing High School, historically black um, high school in the South Side of Houston. Previous band directors, Renford Joseph, and not forget the legend, Mr. Portis, who was the band director here at Worthing, as well as Madison High School. I said all that to say, um, of course, everybody knows the establishment of Greater Houston All Star and what they were doing. All right. Um, well, it got to a point where Greater Houston All Star was always intentionally for high school students, high school clinics, enrichment, so forth and so on. All right. It transitioned. Then they had the establishment of Hum developed as well. Well, around 2014, apparently there was a merger of the two. That was around about 13, 14 when they had that gym battle against New Orleans All Star Band, right? And it was a big thing. And honestly, Hum gave it to New Orleans that year, no lie, in that hot gym. Like pause, but it was live, right? I believe Brian Simmons actually was the director at that time over them, and I believe Professor Gibson was the person over the group for Houston. Well, transitioning years, you can the continuation of Hum, right? Well, in Greater Houston became dormant. I'm giving you a quick cliff notes of it. Greater Houston became dormant, and in the process of being dormant, you still had Hum. Well, then from there, the revival of Greater Houston All Star came about, and a lot of band directors decided to go with that. Now, I don't want to be a hypocrite because I was on this show and was like, yeah, I'm learning a lot, which is true, which is true. But there are some certain things that I disagree with. I'm not going to be messy about it, and I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to give you the tea. There's just certain things that I just didn't agree with, right? And in
I
that
just
process of me,
I don't want to cut you off. I just don't like the term "give you the tea." I just don't.
yeah. I don't want to be, like my kids be like clock it, we trying to be young still, but I don't want to be that guy. I want to build better bands. You know. So yeah, I could do it not publicly. So so it's like in the process of that, I just was like, nah, after my experience in the summer, I'm gonna step away. But please believe me and know this is the state of Houston for bands, for those that don't know. We've been taken over by the state of Texas. TEA, Texas Education Agency, is taking over. We're transitioning now to merit pay. There's a lot of things in regards of fine arts that are changing, right? Clock it is like, give me information, give me the teas. That's what they mean too. But there's a lot of things like even people don't know, and this is from a music education standpoint, our teaks and standards are basically about to change too. People don't know that. But all in all, budgets are being cut. Different things are taking place in this city, good and bad, pending your perspective. So after last year, certain people who was working with Greater Houston All Star decided, hey, we don't like it, so we're going to split. And that's what they chose to do. And that's why the organizers of Space City is Space City. Now, let me say this. The year before Greater Houston All Star was revived, if I can be candid and frank with everybody, I was going to start one. I actually was. I actually was going to start one because the truth is we've never been, against All Star Band, but there's certain ways that we feel like that it should be ran, and we believe that it should be an area specifically for high school students. Now, that year I went through some personal things, and so I was like, and I started school, I was like, this ain't the year. Well, when Greater Houston All-Star came about, I was like, I can't start one now because it's gonna look like I'm hating against something that's already been established and known for in the city. So let me work for them. Well, I don't agree. I didn't, like I said earlier, I didn't agree with certain things. So I just transitioned peacefully. And so this is where we are with that. I don't see technically nothing wrong because the Greater Houston All-Star brand, they're also doing other things with Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church, like they have an orchestra and certain things that they do all year round. Space City is doing their thing. I don't see nothing wrong with it. My only thing has always been I do believe it's a space that should be for high school only. And I look at like that what Brother Alex is doing, work with the high school, and then as soon as they graduate, transition them to home. I feel like Houston could actually have an all-star feeder pattern, so to speak. So that's just my take on it from that point. Of course, we're gonna get more in details as the show continues, but I just feel like that's just my take on it. And we do have an important announcement dealing with that later in the show.
So you are gonna announce that then?
I am going to announce it.
All right. So one of the other questions that was on here is mass ban is so early in the summer it shouldn't affect any school program. Why is that an issue? I'm gonna kind of speak to that, and I think that Kuan's gonna piggyback off that. The thing is that and I made a statement on my LBR about what we're the practices and standards that we're governed to here in the state of Texas, which is UIL, right? A lot of people's jobs depend upon what your scores are when you are at UIL, and many other states, and I can't say this for everybody, but I can say that in many other states, your job is not predicated on whether you do well at your local festival or not. But in the state of Texas, it is. We are judged, depending on your district and region, kind of harshly. And there is a Texas sound when it comes to band that judges are looking for. I say all that to say, to be very honest and very candid and just be very open, like, we know that there is a certain characteristic sound that is attached to mass band and all-star or mass band. And so because of that, there are going to be a lot of directors directly in the state of Texas who may not necessarily agree with what goes on from a musical standpoint, because when you get those kids back, you have to then try to I guess you want to say reteach, but you have to reteach those fundamentals that are necessary for you to be successful in UIL. And
let me just
go ahead.
Not to cut you off. I just want to say I wouldn't say reteach because I feel like somebody's gonna say like it's a negative.
That's why I didn't really want to say reteach. No, I agree. I just didn't want to say that.
Right, but I
maybe
think
reprogram.
I don't want to say reprogram. I think is the best thing is like stylistically change.
The good one. Okay. I can go with that.
Because that's really what it really is.
It like really is that. Yeah.
You got to change. But keep going, bro.
But the truth of the matter is it becomes difficult to be able to do that, and a lot of times, like band directors in situations like that would like to be involved, right? Because especially if they have their own students going, because one, they want to see what their students are learning, and two, they want to be able to continue to invest in their kids, right? But that does become an issue because if directors aren't involved, and stylistically, they're also learning something that is different than what is required from them when they return, then that makes the director's job a little bit harder. And so that, in my opinion, is why it is an issue. Kuan, I don't know if you want to go ahead and expound on that.
Yeah, so I mean, Here's the reality of what's taking place in the city of Houston. There's going to be I don't know why I did it, but there's going to be a new criteria for, and as I stated earlier, I don't know if Julian posted it, but the school board for the Houston Independent School District has already approved what's called merit pay. For those that don't know, you get paid according to your scores. Now that's specifically for general education courses, your math, writing, reading, so forth and so on, science, and your STAR schools, which is your standardized test. Well, how can you do that for fine arts teachers or band directors specifically? You have to go to UIL, right? Now, there's other programs like NESB, National Show Style Band. Like I participate in that. There's USA Bands with brother Eric Prince. He has that one. But certain districts do not recognize that as truly being adjudicated because UIL, I hate to say it like this, is judge, jury, and executioner for the perception of adjudication and band. That's just what it is. It's the world we live in, right? So if I don't go and I make a certain score, is that can affect my pay. So we're talking about a $12,000 difference in your pay, or you could potentially be fired. Why? Is because you're being evaluated according to that result. What did you do leading up to that, and why did you result in that? Now, some other districts, if you get a 3, you going home, bro. And so I understand the culture, but I also need the culture to give some of these band directors grace for their livelihood. Honestly. Um, and I've discussed certain things with directors, and it was like they don't have the time or capacity to change certain things stylistically when they return. Then also, let's be real, for those that don't know, HISD starts the earliest and ends the latest when it comes to academic year as well as professional development. We must return to the school August 1st for professional development. Graduation is June 9th. I'm sorry, June 7th. You got to have professional development hours in the summer. So when we're speaking about being a mass band director, I mean a mass band director, that's the way to say it. When are you going to have a off day? So you have a lot of teachers, honestly, in HISD that's dealing with burnout because we starting earlier, we out there in that heat. So that means, and you cannot go on the field. You cannot start your drill until August 1st. That's a
That's the
law.
rule. Yeah,
That's
that's the
a law.
rule.
So, and then a lot of other schools, how they beat the system is they say, well, they just having sectionals. They just having sectionals. Yeah, but you got to be here to open up for their quote unquote sectionals for them learning music. But August 1st is the only day that you can start. And people don't know you have certain hour requirements too. And then you have heat advisories. So you cannot practice from, what is it, 10 to 3.
They added
So,
that.
huh?
They added that.
Yeah, so you can't because of the heat index, you can't
Yeah, I'm
practice.
saying, my last time that wasn't a thing. When I was my
Yeah,
last year in, that wasn't a thing. So they added
yeah,
that.
yeah, that's the thing. Like
Wow.
you can't. So it's like,
I remember they had the rule that you had to take a break every 20 minutes.
yeah. So none. He said none of that has to do with mass band directly. Though, yeah, it does, bro.
It does.
Like,
It does.
Ralph, it does. Let's keep it 1,000. The reason why, and even if he, okay, let's just say, because me and Ralph cool. Let's just say it doesn't affect it directly. It affects it indirectly. So it still affects it. And the reason why I say it affects it indirectly is this. If you have a kid, and this is the indirect part, some of our budgets have not been approved to get your instruments fixed. When do band directors normally get their instruments fixed? During the summer. So you telling me I got to get my instrument flushed again? Like, that's just one example. Hey, well, I agree to disagree too, Ralph, and you can come on this show at the end and speak your piece, brother. But I just feel like at the end of the day, in my opinion, if Houston will do it, if they should do anything, they should truly do like focus on the high school so that the alumni mass band can grow tremendously. That's me, and I don't have a dog in any fight because I'm not telling my kids they can't go. So let me be clear with everybody. I'm not telling them they cannot go.
So you're not holding your kids back from participating.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. They can go if they want. They can go if they want.
Okay. So
but in regards to like getting there and dropping them off and nah.
All right. So first of all, I just want to say that was an accident. I didn't mean to hit that, but it popped up on the screen anyway. So it's a pretty good question. So maybe the Houston area should probably focus on alumni instead of current high school students. I mean, I kind of like what Kuan said. I think it's definitely a way to do both. In my opinion, I just really believe that, to do both, I mean, you would definitely have to get band directors involved, and it has to be in a specific way, and it has to be structured, and it has to be agreed upon, the style in which you guys want to approach it. Because, I mean, let's be real. Like, you can still do traditional style marching band, right? But it has to be done a specific way that is conducive to, what directors feel is best for their students, that's going to enrich them and allow them to be able to come back and fall into where they need them to be as they move forward into the beginning of the year. And then from an alumni, standpoint, I absolutely agree it should just be an alumni group, because I have never agreed with middle school kids and high school kids being in the same group with some 30 and 40-year-olds. I don't understand why that was a thing. I'm gonna be honest, man. Greater Houston All-Star Band started when I was in high school. So the thought process of all the other stuff that happens to me is still odd to me, in my opinion. Because, and I will say this over and over, I remember when things started out, when mass band started out, All-Star Band started out in Houston. I just remember so many guys from other schools participating. Guys from Worthing. I can't say Westbury because they were core style school then, but like Worthing and Madison and Sterling, like a whole bunch of people were participating. And Mr. Thorne was sitting in that band room like, y'all not doing that. Y'all not doing that, because I don't need you showing allegiance to something else other than this program. So when we talk about alumni and high schoolers being in the same group, to me, that's crazy. So of course I agree that it should be different. And I stand on that. I'm not gonna change that. So
I'm it's like I'm talking to Ralph because is my friend, but I just feel like I don't agree with that. I don't. Like, and as I said in my Luke Kuan band report, at the end of the day, the reality of it is, ain't nobody jeopardizing their job, y'all. Like that's like, you can say what you want. You can say what you want. At the end of the day, ain't nobody jeopardizing their job. I've been to all-star practices where, and I'm not just speaking about Houston, and I'm not pointing out anyone in particular, but I've been to ones in several states, and I've seen alumni people drunk on the horn, sweating because they full of liquor, reminiscing about their glory days. Like, let's come on. It's like I said, on the report, we want kids to be kids, but then you place them in adult situations. So how's that cool? Like, how was that showing them that, like, that's cool?
The problem with that,
I don't need that.
Well, the problem with that thought process is the fact that people be like, well, it's happened before, but just because it's happened don't make it right. And I think that's the problem. We operate in a situation of, well, because it's happening, that makes it okay. No, There are a lot of things that morally happen in this world right now that are not okay that we can look at and be like, yo, that ain't right. That shouldn't be happening. But we make an excuse for it because of the fact that it's just like, oh, well, it happens, so that's the norm. Like that it don't make it right. I'm just gonna be honest.
It don't. And honestly, as a people, we got to stop justifying foolishness,
Bad behavior.
just because. But I mean, it's always been like that. Well, that's what's called a generational curse, brother. like we got to fix some of that. And honestly, as we move up the upper echelon, wanting and speaking about Black excellence, like we got to do better. And let me say this: I'm not saying that things don't happen in drum corps, because it has. A lot of things happen. We've seen notes and just different things like that, for drum corps, and we've seen it. But ain't nobody about to play with their money, like, because we are mandated, if we hear or see something, to report it. So I may be cool. That may, I'm new to the frat, but that may be my frat brother. But let me see my frat brother do something to a student. I'm going to tell on him, because I'm going to keep my job. Because all they have to say is, what school were they at? And was that particular employee there? Was that employee certified? According to, did he pass the test? Was called professional, what is it? Professional Pedagogy and Responsibilities, PPR. Like, you're mandated by that, just like you're mandated if you think a child is being abused. So do I think every mass band operates with drunken fools? I would hope not. But let me just say, but I've seen it. I've seen it, bro.
So here's a problem, right? Like, my biggest problem is we will find the one or two situations and make that for the mass, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I mean by that is, like, if you like, well, Black people do this. Well, he didn't do it, so all Black people don't do it. And I'd be like, but that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is this. There may be, first of all, we're not saying all mass bands operate like that. Mm-hmm. Not one person has said that this is a totality of all mass bands. What we're saying is it happens, period, in mass bands. And so you may know a mass band or two, or maybe even three, that don't do it. And that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's beautiful. But it still happens, and we can't overlook it by trying to use the one or two or three that don't do it and say, okay, well, they don't do it, so we good. Like, okay, they don't, and we applaud them. But what we're saying is it does happen. And so to mitigate those things, separate them. That's all. And at least in this part of the argument, that's where the conversation is.
And Ralph said, y'all doing it too. I don't know why they don't do it over here. So,
doing
but I guess drinking and smoking too. And they ain't doing it over here. So
I don't drink or smoke.
But I told that I ain't.
Norfolk Spartans.
Yeah. But I told that I ain't. But nah, my thing is, but at the end of the day, the reality of it is, I feel like high school should be for high school.
I agree.
That's just bottom line. And if people would just understand that part, I feel like high school should be for high school. Alumni should be for alumni. That's my opinion.
I agree.
And that's just how I personally feel.
But I guess in my brain, I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with that thought process. Right? What's wrong with saying high school should be for high school and alumni should be for alumni?
Man, I think we like for tonight, we almost got to open up the chat like early.
I mean, I can open up the chat. I don't mind opening the chat. The problem is me opening up the chat and then it don't be nobody coming in, and then I'll be like, all right, well, we just opened up the chat for nothing. So if we're gonna open up the chat, then you have to come in and speak up. That's all.
Yeah.
I always said that if you're gonna speak, come and stand on your square. Now we ain't gonna get into ad hominem attacks and all that kind of stuff. We're gonna talk about what we're gonna talk about. All right.
Right.
But no, I don't understand what actually is the problem. What's wrong with saying keeping high school for high school and college for college? Right. I mean, the way that I look at it, and maybe my brain is just different. And I know that there are some states and cities or whatever that have had high school programs with middle school kids in it and stuff like that. I didn't grow up like that. That wasn't a culture that I saw, and so for me, I always believe in being in the space in the area that you in. A middle school kid should be a middle school kid. There should not, in my opinion, be cross contamination between middle school kids and high school kids. When you in middle school band, you in middle school band. Sit down, toot your horn, learn how to, buzz through the mouthpiece, get some air through the clarinet or whatever, and then you graduate, and then you graduate to the high school standard of marching band, whatever your high school does. Right. And then once you're done with that, then you move on to college, and then you experience college. Why should a high school person be experiencing what alumni have experienced at the college level?
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe that's just how I was raised. Like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not against like high school night, right? You in middle school and you go to the high school game, and you participate with the high school for high school night. I don't think that's a problem. But like intermingling like it's a normal practice, I don't know. I just think that you stay in your area. That's just me. That's a me thing. That's a me thing. That's a Luke thing.
And I feel like, bro, and what's crazy for me is, but I've seen schools like Bell in New Orleans smash high schools. So I've always been torn.
I've seen it too.
I've always been torn. Like, I think it was the middle school in Arkansas called Jack Roby. I think there was a middle school. Is somebody, check that out for me. I think, but it was like Jack Roby. I believe that was a middle school in Arkansas. I believe back in the day. They was nice. Like I said, Bell was nice. There's charter schools in New Orleans, real talk. That's real nice.
But see, to me, those are outliers, right? Those are the outliers. Because by and large, that's not something that's happening in the masses. Those are outliers. And specifically in Louisiana, because that's a normal practice. That ain't normal in the state of Texas.
Right, but the anomalies such as like Alto, when Tim Ectofe was there, that was a middle school and a high school, and they was yamming. You know what I'm saying? But
I agree.
But the formula that I always appreciated was the old school formula from Georgia. When I taught Dr. Nicholas Thomas, he informed me. I was like, well, why y'all bands were so large back then? And he was like, the middle schoolers were basically like they learned like the whole entire time, and then they saw the marching band as the reward. So that's how that was. There's a municipal school district in the state of Texas called Stafford. They start them off in 6th grade. If you don't, you join the bands, middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and you be in a marching band in 9th grade. They have the largest two-way marching band in the state of Texas. I believe they're like 290. So I mean, being honest, I was always taught this. Learn your instrument. I could teach you how to march. That's nothing. So I'm more now, as I look at sometimes the lack of experience of students going to college. And if I'm going to be honest, a lot of our high school kids really are not college ready as we think.
I agree.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm guilty of this as well. But the standard of auditions for college has really diminished because a lot of kids are joining band sophomore, junior year in high school. And unless you're that dog to be like, I'm going to catch up, you're really not gonna learn them 48 scales like they tell you to come in school with 12 major 12. I mean 24 scales, that they tell you to come in with. Um we
But is
really
that
don't
to
be
the fault of the student though?
that's it's not the fault, but it's not all the fault of the student. But if you join your sophomore year, let's be honest, you went to McCullough, right?
No, I didn't actually.
So when did you join your freshman year in band?
I joined the 6th grade.
So you can't even say that. So you
No,
had a
I'm
middle
just
school.
saying. No, I was asking, is that the fault of the student because they joined in high school for whatever reason, right? Like I don't. So like when I was teaching, I had kids who joined in high school, and to be very honest, when I asked them, well, why didn't you join the middle school? Because we had a feeder. They were like, well, I ain't like the band there. I ain't
Right.
like the band director, so I ain't want to do it. But I like it here, so
Right.
that's when they joined.
Right. But what I'm saying is your 6th grade year, you develop in establishing so many fundamentals without a rush or stress.
I agree.
That's why a lot of the time, 6th grade, specifically in Texas, you don't even have to deal with UIL in 6th grade, right? 7th and 8th grade is when you get that non-varsity, varsity middle school band experience, right? Freshman year in high school, non-varsity, varsity band, so forth and so on. It's every great meal is slow cooked and prepared. Now you can get by fast food, but it ain't healthy. What I'm just merely saying is some of what we're doing is like we want this product, but sometimes we miss the forest for the tree merely because like we're pushing things on them.
Gotta
Because
rush
let's
the
be real,
process.
right? Because as a band director, let's be real. That fall, you yeah, you teaching as much as you can, pending your situation, pending your administrative support, pending all of the other variables, but you're performing. That's why concert band, jazz band, all of those programs are important. Why? Because you sit down, you get to teach like the things, maybe it's the theoretical approach to it, and those different things. So where they can grasp it to master it. The goal is to master it, not rush it because we want to make sure that we got 100 kids on the field. Out of them 100 kids on the field, it may be honestly a good 60 there maybe really
Just
don't
actually
know.
playing.
Yeah, like they don't know. And that's what I'm saying is like if we really focus on the high schools, because in Houston, going back to the topic at hand with mass band, Houston is a school, a district of school choice. So every area does not have an adequate middle school band structured program. And then you know how many kids realize they be like, man, I don't, like they might have did a 6th grade year, and then it is a kid that's 4'11" that say they're gonna go to the league, and then all of a sudden they senior year they hear all the money, scholarship money that's being passed out. Now they want to join band their junior year. Yeah, I want to play that big one, that tuba. Yeah, but you got to establish amateur. You got to do this and play, and you got to try to get them to the level. Because here's the truth: it's two truths right now that I'm about to say. As a band director, my ego is this. I don't want to send you to a college and you trash because I don't
Because
want you
my
to be
name
like,
gonna be on you.
you feel me? Like, that's number one. And number two, you want to ensure that that child has the best opportunity for financial assistance. And if you don't know your scales, I've heard college band directors go audition kids and they be like, play the B flat scale. And they be like, I don't know it.
I
And they're
don't
a
know
senior.
it. I've been there. I've seen it.
Like, so that's why I'm just saying, like, sometimes we miss the bigger picture. We
Well,
miss the bigger picture.
we live in a microwave society, bro. Like everything has to be rushed. I like that analogy, man. Some of the best food is slow cooked. Shout out to Jalen Green because everybody trying to rush that man process. But I I just think that like I agree with you that everything literally is trying to be rushed. I used to tell my middle school students all the time, like, hey, we gonna sit down and we gonna learn. Your reward is definitely when you get to the high school. But I think, and even when I look at my years at Willow Ridge, right? So you asked me that I go to McCullough. I didn't go to McCullough. I actually went to Welch Middle School,
Yeah.
and
But that still was a good program, though.
Well, oh yeah. Shout out to Miss Linda Stiegler.
Mm.
But the reason why I was pushed more to be better was because I saw my brother at Willow Ridge High School, uh, my 8th grade year. So I said, I want to do that. So then that gave me the drive to want to be better to get to the high school level. Sometimes I'll be like, dog, if you cranking it up from elementary to college, do you burn out from that? I don't know. Do you get burned out from that as a Louisiana product? Let me ask you that question. And
Mm.
and and to be quite honest, you started in high school, so I don't know if you would be the best candidate to answer that.
Mm.
But I mean, can you see a student getting burnt out from elementary cranking it up, middle school cranking it up, high school cranking it up, then going to somebody's university cranking it up? Like, is there a point where you like, yeah, I didn't had enough now, I didn't cranked up?
Well, I can't say that because I joined my sophomore year. But let me say this: the young lady that I was with was a Willow Ridge graduate, right? During prime, the prime, like the I'm not disrespecting your time, but peak,
I mean, you
like
are kind of disrespecting my time because I came in on the
tail
end
end
of
of it.
I came in on the end of it. I still got a little bit of it.
Yeah, but she was in the beginning, right?
Yeah, the early years. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the truth. A lot of those people didn't march
In
for
college.
college bands
Yeah.
because they was like Willow Ridge at that time with Mr. Thornton was like marching
Was
for a
like,
college band.
yeah. That's the same way a lot of people were when I was in school.
So they was like, nah. So if we did, the qualitative approach for that, then yeah, then it can. It depends on the person, you know. Um, so I mean, pins the
Yeah.
program, pins the process, pins the so forth and so on. So that don't mean you're not gonna be good. And then I'm looking at Ralph comment. He was like, "I'm not burnt out. I started playing drums at elementary." I think drums is a little different, but you're not marching. It's
Yeah,
like
I was gonna say that.
you're not marching, and then you're a band director, well, so shut up. Like you know, you're a band director, bro. So it's different. You're a drum instructor, you're a percussion instructor, but to say that you still doing it like that, like he says New Orleans Middle School didn't start career. Boy, you crazy. You crazy. You big tripping. Big tripping. After Katrina,
Don't make his New Orleans come out. Golly.
you big tripping. After you big tripping. Big tripping. Big tripping. So
98 was Yeah. Yeah.
big tripping.
That was me. 98. Um so I did say something else on my LBR and I wanted to bring this up. Oh.
He said I'm getting cool out here. What?
um but no, I did say something on my LBR, and I did kind of want to bring this up, and I brought this up talking about um, Houston bands, and I've always felt, and I really like these ideas and thought processes, and I guess we're gonna throw the announcement out there at some point, but I've always felt that it is difficult to get mass band going in the state of Texas, specifically in Houston, because I'm from Houston, but the state of Texas in general. Because I don't feel like the camaraderie is the same as it was when it first started. From the director's perspective, like there are a lot of people out there who just want to start, mass bands, and I think that's fine if you just want to do that. But I think one of the things that helped to push Greater Houston on, at least when I was in school, was the support behind it from a high school band director perspective. That I don't know if it truly exists now in the state of Texas. Not to mention the fact Now, when you look at Houston, it's so big. It's just so vast and it's spread apart. And so I've always just kind of felt like different thought processes and different ideals and different egos and so on and so forth. But Quan, is somebody who's in the city right now, as a director, do you feel that way, or am I just off on that?
In regards of ego,
Yeah.
I think there is ego, but we have to get to the point as a people to be like, bruh, if you like light skinned, fair skinned women, that's your cup of tea. There's nothing wrong with that. That's your preference. But if another brother likes a nice chocolate, dark skinned woman, cool. Like we've gotten to the point almost where it's almost like we feel like, okay, just because I don't agree with you, that means I'm totally against you. Or if I'm not into that stylistically, I'm against you and I'm a hater. It's almost like Bloods and Crips, like you in or you out. As my grandmother would say. I like maybe I want my summer. Maybe that's it. Maybe I want my summer. And at the end of the day, the reality of it is mass ban doesn't turn people on some people. It's okay. It's okay. But in regards of egos, if I say I don't want my kids to go there to learn or change certain things stylistically so I can reteach, that's his opinion. And that's his autonomy as a band director. So what you do is get around like-minded people that have the same like-mindedness, line up with the people that's equally yoked with you. And that's it. And then have that mass band. But can I say this though? We have to begin associating people that you trust. Because that's the biggest thing, right? Do I trust you with my kids? Honestly. If we can start there, that's the thing. Do I trust you with the safety of my kid? Because I'm not gonna send my kids, and I'm not speculating anything, but I'm looking at a real question. If you don't like it while over publicizing, that's their opinion. Like that's the thing.
Well, before you even keep going on that, so this is one of the biggest things that I have the
That's
biggest problem with.
proven point.
This is one of the biggest things that I have the biggest problem with right now. Right? If you put something out in a public space, it is free for it to be judged, opinionated, and scrutinized. You cannot be upset that it was put out there. I don't know if that was an "I'll be back" or what, but I'm just saying I cannot, for the life of me, understand, and I see it all across social media, whether it's on the TikTok or on Instagram. Listen, if you put your band out there, if you put a mass band program out there, if you put your middle school band out there, you are putting it out there with the understanding that, yes, you want it to be showcased, that's fine. But opinions and thought processes come with it. And if you are not okay with being scrutinized, then don't put it out there. Like that's the one thing that I cannot understand. I don't get it. I really don't understand it or get it. Like you can't call somebody a hater because they dislike something. They dislike it. It's okay. Move on. Like that's the thing that I don't know where he went, but I absolutely agree with what he's saying in the sense that get with the people or get around the people that do like it. But you also can't get upset at the people who don't like it. They just don't like it. Move on. You'll be all right. You'll be absolutely all right. And so that's where I didn't mean to cut him off. I know he has something going on in his brain that he wanted to kind of finish getting out. But I see that so much and I hear that so much, and it just bothers me. If you put it out there in the social space, remember this, people, as you're watching, I don't care what it is. If you go and put your butt cheeks somewhere out on social media, somebody's gonna scrutinize your butt cheeks. So just get used to it. Don't put it out there if you don't want to be scrutinized. I did want to go back really quick, and then when Quan comes back, I want him to finish his thought. But um, get to what Justin Jackson said. He said it's not even the camaraderie, it's the location and logistics. It's the UIL, and it's how many schools is in your district are show bands. Well, I would definitely agree with that too. You know, the number of schools that are traditional style marching bands like that is not that high. When we really start breaking that thing down, specifically in the city of Houston, um, and I think that was one of the things that bonded a lot of the older band directors together during my time when I was in high school, is the fact that they knew that they weren't, it wasn't that many across the board. Not to mention a lot of them went to school together too, but um, they knew that they were a small group, and so they found a close tie with one another. But Quan, go ahead and finish your thought, bro. If you even remember what you were talking about.
Where were we? I'm sorry.
You were talking you were talking about, well, I kind of jumped on the bandwagon because it got frustrating, but you were just talking about you getting with your people, and if you don't like it, you don't got to listen to them, so on and so forth. Yeah, but go ahead. I don't know if you remember your thought.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say it like this, bro. Like at the end of the day, the reality of it is, if there's a lot of other things that are taking place in Houston that could be different on a person's priority list. So that's just the reality of it. There's a lot of things that are taking place in Houston that at the end of the day, I'm focusing on really keeping my job. Number one, my livelihood. Number two, as a people, we have to truly be cognizant about what we put out there and the perception of things.
I agree.
Now, let me say this. I'm in no way saying that DCI is better than mass band for our culture. I'm no way saying that. But what I am saying is there's a different type of presentation that takes place. That different types of presentation can positively or negatively affect potential sponsors and people in higher places that can expand that said culture or event or thing. God has blessed me to where I really think I'm a visionary. I really do believe that, because sometimes I have to see things not just for what it is right now, but how can this affect us 10 years from now? I believe that honestly, mass band for our culture can be a circuit if we came together and did it like that. But here's the reality of it. When it comes to mass band, I like the original mass band functionality. Teach them kids how to drill. I used to love LLI. Especially, I feel like the best LLI version was 2006 when they did Fly Like a Bird. That was my favorite LLI. I believe that was under the direction of Cornell Knighton that year. I feel like we can do it amongst ourselves. And then number two, and I see what you're saying about DCI Dodged and Slam Jackson State. Well, that's some ignorant people. You don't have them. But I'm talking about.
Did I miss that? When did they do that?
Yeah, when it was doing
the Travis Scott thing.
Yeah, the Coachella thing.
How did they dog them? Did I miss that?
Yeah, they were because they had FAMU in Jackson State, and they had some people from Carolina Crown that was in it too. And it was right. Like, that can't be Carolina Crown. Like, that can't be them. They were fat mouth for them. They were. I'm not talking about where I'm saying you need them. What I'm saying is the structure of it. The structure of it is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the structure of DCI. How DCI has levels. How you have sound sport, and then you have what's the minor leagues? like you got the international, and what's the middle, bro? Like you know what I'm talking about. Like
Um,
not it would be like Casper Troopers and like those Blue Knights, you know.
Blue Knights is
Um
world class and open class.
thank you. So you
They
got
used to
sound
be
sport,
they used to be called divs, like div one, div two, div three, but yeah,
right.
world class open.
So 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 my thing is, and regardless if mass band is old or young, All Star Band has been popping since about '99. If you go to the original like New Orleans public school system All Star Band, that was like around 98, 99. What I'm saying is, if we really came together and was like, hey, we're gonna do a circuit, we're gonna come together, we're gonna get these sponsors, we're gonna put our money together, and this is gonna be the stops. And then honestly, you have these councilmen and these people in these neighborhoods to give money, give sponsorship for these high school kids, make sure that they safe. But the question is, are you willing to do what these DCI groups do, like sleeping on the gym floor, have practices 7, 8 hours in a day, develop uniforms and get things from Stanbury and all these other things. All Star Band, it's the same concept. It's the
That's the
same
problem.
concept.
See, here we go again. We
Now we're
had
playing semantics, damn it.
we
Now
right
we're playing
like we
semantics.
had this conversation before on the show because we sat here and we asked, is there a difference between All Star and Mass Band? And people were like, no, it ain't really. It's just really the same
We
thing.
just
It's just
cranking
a name,
shit. We just cranking in this hole.
right? It's just a name. It's all it is. And we were sitting up here like All Star when I was coming up was
You have to
was
audition for that hole.
right like that. You were the top of you were the cream of the crop. You were the top guys that was in the program. I don't know, man. Y'all,
That
man. Here's the
can't
thing.
be
I
sweet.
don't think I don't think people really know what. I think some people got an idea of what it's supposed to be, and I think other people's got another idea of what it's supposed to be, and don't
What's
nobody
crazy?
know really what it's supposed to be.
What it is, you know why? Because we ain't defined that shit yet. And say here's the problem. Because All
Exactly.
Star Band, because New Orleans is a what? New Orleans what? All Star
All Star.
Band.
Yeah.
They're not New Orleans Mass Band. You lie. You lie. You know what? I'm sick of y'all. Man, I'm sick of y'all. I'm sick of y'all. You know what I'm talking about? I'm sick of y'all. Because on one hand, we all star. New Orleans is an all-star band. But I know we seen some dude that was on the corner on Bourbon right after that battle. Me and right next to Mothers that time. All-star mass band. New Orleans All-Star Band is a mass band. So you just defined it for me.
So
You
so,
said
so
All-Star was high school.
I'm so confused. Wait, so why is it called All Star then? So if it's an All Star, then how is it a mass band? Shouldn't it be called New Orleans Mass Band?
People and flies, I do despise.
I'm telling you, I believe that people have their own thought process of what this stuff is, and pending the person that you ask, you're going to get a completely different answer.
Let me just say this because I know Chuck gonna have to comment. If we really came together as a people, we could develop a circuit. You could develop a championship. You could have the East Coast people who have all-star bands or mass bands, right? Whatever, however you want to put it. We could meet, just say New Orleans at the end of the year. Give them people championship rings, just like DCI. But if you want to be honest, we missed the large market. See, here's the problem. We think that the people that come out to see us park and play is a lot. Here's the truth. I'm not about to pay $25 just to see you stand there and play. I need to see a production. You need to shake it for this money. Pause. I'm just saying. At the end of the day, we can really do this. And I'm not talking about, and I'm gonna throw shade on it. I'm not talking about how ESPN did it. because ESPN, that adjudicated thing could have been so fire, but they dropped the ball on it. And these summer programs, they could actually do it. Why not audition these high school students? Teach them a drill during the summer. Teach them leadership skills. Sponsor them kids with $1,000. Take the money. Do what's right. Get them kids championship rings. And then, honestly, have them at whatever said large stadium and have them perform. The top 3, 4 bands, all-star bands of high school kids. Because I know the mass band people, since mass band is technically old, y'all ain't about to march no 8 to 5. What I'm saying, there's money to be made. But real talk, we're small-minded. Being honest, bro. But I digress. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Chuck.
Mass band must be the new anomaly. Real talk.
What's up, y'all? Can you hear me?
We could
Yeah,
hear
we
you,
got
Fred.
you.
Yeah, hear me, man. Yeah, we can hear you,
Oh, look
Fred.
at it! Look at
Congratulations, bro.
it! We can hear
You beat me to it. You beat me to it, bro, man. Congratulations, man. First off,
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
how y'all
Appreciate it.
doing? Y'all doing all right?
Hey man, I'm alive, man. I went down for 2 days. I thought it was over. So hey, I'm good.
Hey, I feel you, man. Nah, it's good to see you guys, man. I feel you. We got commencement on Friday, and we're officially done. So it's
Hallelujah.
been it's been crazy. But now,
This your second year, that Chuck?
you said what?
This year too?
Yeah, this is year two, man. This is year
Okay,
two.
good.
It's flown by, man. Flown by. But yeah, just listen to some of the earlier topics and stuff like that. You mentioned about like the middle school to high school. I did that for like a couple years because what happened, like my first band program that I was at North Carolina, I was having about 10 to 15 kids from the middle school that were coming to the high school practices and just standing around and like watching the band. So I went over and I asked, I was like, do you guys play instruments? Like, yeah, we're in the middle school band. We just wanted to watch you guys. And so being a part of athletics as well when I was teaching, I realized that that's a common thing when it comes to certain sports for like talented eighth graders. That they can play on the ninth grade team and things like that with like permission and that happens a lot of times. They encourage playing up, right? And so how we did it is that because I had to have a conversation with my middle school director about it, is that if they participated in the high school band, then they were required to audition for district and participate, in everything in their middle school program that they had to offer. And if they slacked in any area, academically or musically, then they didn't get that privilege. So that was kind of like, and one of the reasons why we did that is because, again, and it's crazy for me to say this as a collegiate band director, I was that kid from the transition from eighth grade to ninth grade that dropped band. I actually dropped band because I was playing football and we moved in the middle of the season and I needed an extra elective class. And then I got back into band and then it just kind of stuck. So I was that kid that was like, I'm going to ninth grade, I'm playing sports, like, I'm done playing this instrument. I gave it 3 years and then I was done. And so I always wanted to find a way to kind of bridge that gap. So that's how it worked for us. But then you guys mentioned about burnout. I did have some kids that while in their high school years, I had them, okay, so for 2 years, seventh and eighth grade, and then all their high school years, district, some of them auditioned for all state, section leaders, drum majors, stuff like that. A few of them did not participate when they went to college. Now they still played their instrument, but they just didn't participate in the college band due to burnout because we were just doing the most, young band director all over the place, trying to have my program seen, trying to be seen. And so definitely that burnout, came in there. So I've seen some good things. I know in Georgia, Quan, I know you mentioned it as well too. They start really early. Sometimes as early as like fourth and fifth grade, and so by the time they get to like seventh grade, musically, they might be at like an eighth or ninth grade level. If they've started it that early, and I've seen it work, and definitely to my knowledge, as being a former DeKalb County employee, that's how a lot of them band programs like were really thick and remain thick. I mean, I look at some of those videos from Southwest DeKalb in late '90s and early
Right.
2000s. I'm like, God, man, it was so many people, and but those kids were that they were definitely receiving a very, very quality level of instruction, and being groomed to be top tier musicians in all areas. That's one thing I can say, that in my time in DeKalb, I loved how every director pushed everything. Like, it wasn't just enough to say, "Hey, you got a good band fall." Like, what you get in concert festival. How many of your kids went to district? Like, kids pride themselves in that district on that, which is very, very healthy. In terms of being competitive. But as and then of course, the topic of mass band and stuff. I've seen mass band in like three different states, and I've seen a lot of like similarities in terms of. Well, I'll talk about the positive. One thing I can say again, I'm talking about DeKalb County, my experience there. Like, GAM's got a really good system, and I think that their audition that they have now is probably one of the single largest, like, what you would say, combine, what I'm saying, for band. It's one of the largest, that's out there. There's so many band programs that's represented, and a lot of them kids come in ready. Ready meaning that they got all their majors, some of their minors, they got lyrical, technical piece, percussion, doing multiple things. And I see how that's, the transition, but I'm definitely in agreement that it needs to be, separated, with the adults and the high school kids. Cause again, in my experience in three different states, I've seen like all of the negative things that you guys are talking about. Not all the positive. I've seen some positive, but I've seen a lot of the negative in terms of adults being adults. When you become an adult, you don't want nobody to tell you to not be an adult, right? No matter where you go. And and as a educator, like, again, we're mandated reporters. There's certain things that can't happen on campus, and I've seen points of contention between adults and other adults in front of kids, because these are still kids. And even you'll see, I've seen this before, and this is just my truth. I've seen folks that are participating in mass bands that were kicked out of their collegiate program for being on BS. And so you got high school kids say, "Oh no, I'm not in the band because my band director tripping." Nah, you were doing something you weren't supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I know for me, when and even on the collegiate level, but again, as a high school director, I'd always tell my kids, like, "Hey, look, like, I want you to encourage you guys to play your instrument over the summer. A, don't take my instrument because I'm responsible for it. Number one. Number two, um, when you come back, understand that this ain't that. This ain't that. We do here." And I think that that is important to drive home. Even here, what I'm saying, on the collegiate level, we say, "Hey, y'all participate in that. It is what it is." But understand, we got a certain level of expectation when we come here to have our sound and not anybody else's. Um, Y'all did mention about like the college audition. Again, this is year two for me, and I'm seeing a lot of the same consistency. Um, we'll get some kids that can get through, for an example, the flat scales, but then when we start getting to the naturals and them sharps, it's like, and I only can offer so much. But then again, I see the kids that come at this trumpet player from, and his dad used to be in the MMW at Alabama A&M years ago. He played trumpet. His son plays trumpet, and oh my goodness, it was probably one of the single best auditions that I've been able to do. This kid killed all of his majors, all of his natural minors, had three letters of recommendation prepared. He had a lyrical, a technical piece, and his sight reading was just immaculate. Had another percussionist as well too. He came in with a 4 mallet marimba piece. And I was like, yes. And then timpani tuning and things like that. We have all that stuff. And not saying anybody else, but we have all that stuff on our website. This is the expectation when you come in to be able to participate in all the ensembles that we have. And you'll get some kids that I'm gonna be honest that say, like, oh, I don't know that scale. And it's like the second or third scale that you should have been receiving from the beginning. And I get it, sometimes you have kids that don't listen, but on the other hand, you get kids that you could just tell that weren't given these things and it wasn't a priority and all they needed was to be fed. I always say like a dog's going to go where it's fed. I used to have kids from other high school programs come to my wind ensemble rehearsal after school because they weren't doing it at their school. And they're like, oh my goodness, I want to come in here. And I would let them sit in. I don't care if it's the rival school. Come on, you're going to get this work, because I want to see these kids go on and go wherever they go. I just had a former high school kid. I was wishing he was coming to us, but he's elected to go to another school in the SWAC, which had multiple rounds. And y'all can probably know who I'm talking about of auditions, kind of like auxiliary, and they getting the cream of the crop, because they've amped up, the expectation, prior to coming in. And so, again, I'm happy for him and where he is, but um, again, I just see when it comes to that audition thing, um, I see it's just so all over the place, and again, you can test kind of like I don't know. Rick Pitino mentioned this coach, what I'm saying, famous college coach, and he was like, "I'm not recruiting high school kids. I'm recruiting within the portal now." Ready-made players to make this. What I'm saying, he knows what he's getting, and so definitely we have our spots that we go to all the time because we know that these kids are going to come ready-made. But unfortunately, there's some spots that I'll name nameless that we get kids coming in playing neck or playing their drill. I'm serious. Like this is a real thing. This is a real thing. I know we
I
play
know,
and
I
talk.
know. I remember. I've seen it.
It right. It's a real thing, and you hear the talent of the kids. You hear the tone. You hear the potential. Like, oh my goodness! Like, take this Arben's book, or take this Melodious Etudes, or take this. Like, you could do this. You could do this stuff. It needs to be given. So I don't know. My last thing, what I'm saying again with the mass band thing. The comparison I made last year when we talked about it. It's like and one basketball, and then everything else. But I agree, Quan, that a circuit can be made to really highlight like the talent of my kids. My kid, this is year one in band, and I'm gonna brag on my son. He's never been in band before. Got into band this year. He's been in competition band, football band. His school has 3 wind ensembles. They went to WGI twice, right? And the structure, I marvel at the structure of how they organize everything. And I just love it. Totally different experience than what I got in high school. But man, my kid is loving it. He started cymbals, got moved up to last base, and then now he's about to play quads. And I'm just like man, I'm just so thankful that again, not calling one better than the other, but it's about like the mentality and the structure of it. You know, like you said, seeing them bands do drills in the summer. Like, why are we not doing that stuff? Like, that's part of our culture as well, too.
Too much
And
work, man.
so
Too much work.
right. And there you go. That's what it is. Too much work. Oh, people don't want to do this. Let's park and play. Like I love sound like the next person. I went to before I came here. I went to a GAM event. I was actually moving to come to Huntsville, and I went to a GAM event. And I knew what I was getting into, and I just had a good time. I enjoyed
Say,
it.
say, Luke, let's go to a Georgia Mass band practice and then one of the events this summer. Let's
I'm
just hit
saying
one.
go,
So
go,
so so
go.
first of all, I want to because I want to backtrack only because I want to make it very clear, very similar to what Chuck was saying. When we were at PV, we had people who was in mass band, who was in hum, and like Chuck said, we would tell them all the time, "Hey, we ain't doing that here." I mean, you. Well, we would be like, dog. We'd ask him all the time. Me and Rick, like, why do you do that? Like, why go there? Like, why participate? But you still did it. We knew that every summer they were gonna do it, and we just like, hey, just remember that ain't what we doing here.
Hey,
Uh,
look, it's like us going to the club knowing that we were spending $20 and we had to wait in that long, long behind line. And you're
and
like, man, we could be doing something
then
else.
still spend money on the drinks.
Oh my goodness, right.
You
Or and
probably
then we realized
depending on where you went, you had to pay the part.
right. And
Y'all
then
stop it.
we got
Stop it.
older.
Y'all
We
hating.
got older and realized the best thing was the kickback at the crib.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Keep my money in my pocket.
I keep my money in my pocket, man.
Look,
Y'all they
Oh,
gonna think
kick
y'all
the
they gonna
best
think
the
we
best
hating.
thing was to kick back at the crib or get married and you kick back with your wife and get as much cheeks and food as you want to. You ain't got to
the
go
the
look
the
for it.
the, the unconditional cheeks.
Cheeks don't stop, baby.
Find you some, gentlemen. Some
Uh, but
unconditional.
but as far as what Quan was saying, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I mean, think about it. Dog. We went to the what was it? The Georgia Mass Band versus New Orleans All Star Band.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but it's Georgia now though. Like,
True,
it's a
that was a different Georgia. You're right. It's a
different
different.
Georgia, bro. Like I was, yeah, bro. This Georgia, wow, bro.
Let
Yeah,
me
it's a
tell you,
different Georgia.
I appreciate the create. I tell them all the time, I appreciate the creativity, like the level of musicianship. Like, again, we all like sound, but there's just certain things that just should be present. And I'm appreciative of it. And a lot of those kids go to major programs and they do exceptionally well. That's one thing I can say with that. And I'm sure there's some others for some other programs, but again, that's just my truth. And I just wish that we could, like, when the way I see how the like mass bands are now, and even you were talking about Houston and the divide, like that reminds me in North Carolina when you would only have we only had one traditional style competition, and that was the paw at Dudley High School. And then E. Smith started theirs. And then next thing you know, there was like 5 to 10 different ones. And everybody's like, I can't go to every one. And so it's like all over the place. And I get it, everybody want to make their money, but it's like oversaturated, and you can't do competitions every weekend. You're not going to get any better. I had to learn that, and so it becomes diluted, and you're hearing, the north side mass band, the south side mass band, the east, the west, or whatever. It's like, man, like, we could bring this together, if egos and just a business like mindset, what I'm saying, could be established. And I'm not saying that stuff's not talking about. I'm not in the mass band circles, you know. But again, I think that could be something that could push it forward. I want to say last thing I want to say is that you guys have seen the IFL, right?
Know what?
The IFL, it's like a new football league. Birmingham has a team, Memphis has a team.
Was that
Yeah,
I think
we still
did
gotta
this
see it,
happen
right?
after the breakdown of the XFL?
Yeah, that's exactly what that is. And we were supposed to like build one new. I say that's a great avenue for mass bands because it's
Speaking
in
of
the
it,
summer. Yeah.
yeah, we were invited to play for the Roughnecks, but it's during our prom. So yeah.
Right. They wanted to get
Was
us.
that what that
Like,
call was that you had the other day?
Yeah, when we was on the phone.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's a perfect avenue for summer mass bands to showcase what they do and maybe even get halftime back going. You know what I'm saying?
Because you
Yeah. I
Because
have your
I
mean,
even
full time. Because you got your
yeah.
full time at this particular point. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah, and they're breaking off bread. They were gonna give me a budget. I could pick like just kind of like a dry fit uniform or whatever. Like they're like, we want this. And I'm like, university man, we're not here in the summer, so I got to toss that to like our community drumline or whatever, which I'm happy for them for that. But I think that could be a great space, what I'm saying, for mass band outside of what they're doing, just to get some sponsorship and progress it forward, and get a system,
Well, I mean, you always come in here and drop some gems, man. So I definitely appreciate it. All the things that you said, man. And real talk, man. It's good to see you, man. I feel like it's been a really, really long time. It's been a long time. So yeah,
It's been such a long year, such a long year, but I'm appreciative it's coming to the end and get a little rest and reset before we got to do this thing all over
all
again.
over again. Well, brother, get you some rest. Tell the family I said what's up, and
Most definitely.
man, we appreciate you, bro. 100%.
Thanks, man, and congratulations, Quan. About time, bro.
He can throw it up
Yeah,
high. Yeah. All right, brother.
Publicly.
Public. It's wrong person. There we go.
God, nigga just deleted me. God damn.
Nah, I ain't delete you now, man. I can't do that, brother. June 27th. It's them young G. Oh, sorry. Wrong thing. That's what it says.
Yeah. My name Kuan, but I appreciate you, bro. I got you.
So June 27th in Georgia.
In Georgia.
I gotta talk to my boss.
Yeah, we know. We know who the boss is. We know who the boss is. Hey, if you get down here, we could
Ride
get
up.
a little rental car. Stop, go see my mom on the way.
Ooh, don't tease me with a good time,
Yeah,
baby.
bro. Hey, that'll be a
Hey.
fire little trip.
Hey, June 27th. We gonna roll down jamming June 27th.
Where they gonna be at?
He just said June 27th.
I really want to hit at least two of them. Like for real, for real. I really do. For real talk.
Let me pin the link to the chat. Brother Laredo is trying to get in. Let me do that real quick. While I'm doing that though, real quick, Quan, this has absolutely nothing to do with mass band or anything else. I'm gonna have a general conversation with Quan while I get this thing going here. Did you get that email I just sent you a couple of minutes, about a couple of hours ago?
Yeah, I got it. I've already printed them out.
Dang, that quick?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Okay, you waste no time. Got you. Yeah, my bad, man. I told you I was gonna update them, but I got consumed with work stuff, and so I was just like, hey, you go ahead and have it, work it out.
Nah, it's all good. I got you. Even if I gotta look at them and switch them around, like you still good.
I got to look at those rap tunes for you though.
Yeah, I saw that one. I was like, okay, NCAT.
Hey, listen, that joint rock. That's why I was like, cause I wrote it for my students. So I was like, let me try it out on these kids. They loved it. So I was like, yeah, all right. So I'm like, yeah, man, y'all go ahead and.
Hey, but shout out to them high schools at this Battle of the Band last weekend. Like, hey, I don't know if all them schools was just from Georgia, but them kids sound good, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. They sound good.
You talking about at the joint the DJ host?
Yeah,
Six
bro.
Flags?
Yeah, bro. The one at Six Flags, but it was another one that was in the gym.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
I think Lameek was there. Like, bro, they sound damn good. Like, for real, bro. Like, for real.
Brother Laredo is pinned to the top of the chat. So there you go. All right, let's get Brother Laredo in here. All right. Oh, I put him on the wrong one. There we go.
There we
How's
go.
it
What's up,
going?
fellas?
What's up, doctor?
What you got for
So,
us?
first off, I appreciate the conversation. I caught up with some of the stuff that y'all had about the mass band stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so me being an OG, kind of like an OG in the community, I've seen versions of where there's a positive relationship between alumni and grown folks with the high school band. So, like, just take pure example 2014 was a great year for Houston in the mass band area, right? So, like, you had two separate entities of where Houston had their alumni band, which is the Hum, and was working concurrent with Greater Houston, which they did their own thing, they did their own schedules and stuff like that, and that really benefited the programs. I don't know what happened because once I'm not an educator, but I also understand the comments that y'all were saying about UIL and stuff like that. Um, I think one key point that I can bring up as a person that's looking on the outside in, it's conversations like these that sometimes have a negative effect to what is being or things that are trying to happen. So it's one of those things that there's positive things that can happen when you have constructive conversations around this. There are other mass bands in other cities that do combine the alumni with the high schoolers, and they're having successful programs. Take a look at New Orleans, take a look at Georgia Mass Band, take a look at Memphis. Memphis was one of the first bands that combined their alumni with their high school people and has produced some of the greatest musicians that I've ever met in my career and tenure as a musician. So like there's ways to structure the organization, but those conversations have to happen. And they have to happen to where you put those safeguards up with your to protect your students, to not let them go away from what you want them to learn and want them to do, and also your keep the alumni or the grown folks away to prevent any type of shady business. And that's from what I've seen because I've seen a couple of y'all videos and stuff like that of the conversations that y'all been having, and the stuff going around with the whole drama around the Space City mass band stuff like that. I think there's better ways to have those conversations, but again, I'm kind of already on the outside looking in and seeing how things are. There, that's just my key point on that aspect.
That's fair, bro. That's fair.
Um, I appreciate y'all having the conversations though, because I think it's a good thing to have these because nobody really has them anymore, and that keeping y'all being educators, y'all coming from that aspect. It's always a my respects out to y'all because that's something that's true. You got to look out for your students. You got to look out for your job as well because, like you said, if something happens, they'll hold y'all accountable for what y'all do or what happens in those particular summer things.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say this. And I'm gonna be honest. There's not anything that you really said that I disagree with, right?
Absolutely.
Because I know that we have had previous shows before this show where we've had something where we've said something to the degree of what you just said, which is, if you're gonna do it, you have to program it right and you have to do it right. Like we said that before. On the same notion, we've also on today. I literally said me personally don't really get it because that's not a system that I necessarily saw when I grew up. But
Yeah,
that does not necessarily mean that it's impossible to do. But I don't get it, and I don't necessarily agree with it. But that doesn't mean it's impossible. So I agree.
yeah.
There's nothing that you're saying I don't disagree with.
And I will say this because I grew up in the era of Sam Jackson. Like I was under Sam Jackson, and I got to know Mr. Thornton. I know
Oh
both of
yeah,
those guys
absolutely. Yeah,
were
best
against
friends.
like were they were against us playing in summer band, but
Yep.
they also knew that when we came back, they I remember Sam Jackson telling me, "You got to make sure you don't lose focus." And you know, it's just one of those things that you have to sit there and listen and just like instill into your students. Yes, go play, but at the same time, don't lose focus to our mission, our stuff, and stuff like that. So I just want to share the comment because it's like I feel like there's a stigma around what's going on in Houston, and I feel that this city has enough people. The bands are getting better. The bands are killing it. The directors, shout out to the Houston area band directors. Like those guys are killing it. They're building the programs back up. My alma mater, Brandon up there, he's killing it. He's built a program from the ground up, and they're literally doing positive things to get these schools back to what they used to be. So there's unity in the directors. I think the summer stuff is a petty a little bit because I see it from both ends, from the outside looking in and from the perspective of that. But I I have great feelings about what's going to happen, and I think that hopefully we can have those people over the organizations. I know one of them is open to conversations because he's a good friend of mine, but I know that these people should be it. I hope that one day they could put whatever problem or whatever it is aside to work together for the benefit of the city instead of trying to have like 15,000 bands in one city. And that's what I want to see, and that's just out of my personal point of view.
That's real.
I appreciate you, man. And Elias, did I say it right?
Yeah.
Elias, man. What year did you march? Now I got to
Uh
ask. Now
oh,
you know I got to.
03 to 07.
Okay, yeah, you were around my time. You were around my time.
Yeah.
No,
Little
I
you
was on
after
the
me.
other
no,
I was
you
on the
wouldn't.
other side smacking Willow Ridge around for a little bit, you know.
Never
And we
happened.
smacked Willow Ridge a couple of years in a
Never
row.
happened. Never happened.
What school you march for?
Madison.
Madison. Yeah.
Nah, you wouldn't.
Right. That's what I said. Never happened. Never
Nah.
happened.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
so he came. So you said 03 to 09. So you came in after I left, which is fine. But
Yeah.
I was actually kind of upset because that was the what the first year that Willeridge played Madison and football was 03, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
03 at the
that was the
Astrodome.
Vince Young years.
Yeah.
Well, no,
So
that was before I came in. I came in fall '03 into '04.
okay, okay, yeah, that was after me. But we were like, man, we wanted to play Madison, but we got Smiley my last 2 years. But no, man, no. I just wanted to
Yeah,
see when your time was, man, and see what years you were talking about. Yeah, but that never happened. But I mean, everybody can be delusional at every now and then. A little liquor will
Hey,
take you a long way, but it's all good.
hey, much love to y'all. Keep doing what y'all doing on the real. Like I said, I appreciate the conversations y'all have. Looking at it from the outside in, I'm able to see your perspective as directors. And y'all just keep grinding and doing what y'all doing. So, just wanted to hop in here and just shout that out, and then just basically, hey, like, just a message to the city: we're better together than separate. And
I agree.
to the whoever's if whoever is out there and a part of these other organizations, um I'm not going to be negative, but certain things don't need to be said. There's better doing things that benefit the children and the city and as a whole for the summer than to try to speak disunity, because while you're trying to make it seem like you're bringing things together, you're low key just causing more disunity in the city. And right now, Houston is on a good path in the bands that we need more unity and support for all our schools, especially after this voucher stuff has come out. It's going to take a big effect on our fine arts programs in our schools. So we need to be as united as ever right now compared to anything else that's happening. So much love to y'all guys. I'm gonna hop out of here because I got to get back in. I got to get in and get. I just got out of the gym, so
Hey man, get your
okay.
so.
work on, man. I
But yeah,
appreciate you, Elias.
all right,
All right,
all
bye
right,
That's
bye.
real.
guys, y'all take it easy.
You too.
All right.
That's real.
Yeah,
That's real.
100%. 100%. Smiley gave you no. Smiley did not. Let us not. We are not about to go and put this. I will say one. I will say one thing about Smiley that I remember. Um, the last 2 years that I marched when they played us, when they stood still for their opening song.
That Spider-Man,
Yeah,
X-Men, whatever. Yeah.
I was like, all right, they got something. And then they started marching, and I was like, yeah, yeah. Yeah. but no, man, good times, man. It was definitely good to be able to hear from somebody around my time, man. So it's all good, man. Hey, you ain't saying nothing. You got the DVD, my brother. I got the VHS. I got the VHS in the garage. I done watched it multiple times.
That boy got
and
that
I
boy
lived
still
it.
been tracking. That
Yeah,
tracking.
absolutely. I got to hit that little knob to make sure that all the lines is gone. So so yeah. Oh yeah, I don't know nothing about '05. That wasn't my time.
Oh boy.
I can only speak about my time. So I can only speak about my time. So it is what it is, man. But no, I will definitely say, man, this has been a great conversation, man. You know, I definitely agree. The conversation needs to continue to be had. I do not think that we need to stop the conversations. We keep the conversations growing. And with that being said, I guess we want to go ahead and go through this whole announcement process. So, with that, I'm gonna let Kuan take it away.
All right. So, of course, as always, first and foremost, the people on this show, we are about giving kids the best experience with the best teachers that we can possibly find in our areas. We're not against mass band. I think mass band is live. As Brother Elias, he just got off the call and he said, man, we're growing, but the reality of it is certain band programs and certain experiences our students still miss. Again, this is a school choice district. So you may have a pockets of great traditional style marching bands. So with that being said, what I decided to do, because I'm for mass band and I want my kids to have that mass band experience. And like I said, there are certain things that I didn't agree with. So what I decided to do was, on my own merit, I decided to call people that I look up to, people, colleagues that I feel like want the same thing for their programs. So what I decided to do, we're going to have our first ever high school band clinic. I'll have those details, but it's going to be the second week of June. And it's going to be a Southside Mass Band. Again, now this Southside Mass Band is going to be a clinic, and then we're going to have an exhibition. And then those students can respectfully go to whatever program that they want to. Please understand that. If they want to march for Greater Houston All-Star, blessings over there. If they want to do Space City, blessings there. If they want to do Houston Mass Band, blessings over there. But what I decided to do is the people that I rock with on the South Side. So this is your Worthing. Shout out to the house. Madison, Sterling, Yates, Stephen F. Austin, and Westbury. We're going to have a clinic, and we're going to come together and just ensure that, hey, our kids have the opportunity to line up with each other and learn techniques amongst band directors, breathing exercises, articulation, so forth and so on, chorales. And we're going to play about 6 songs together. And this is the best part. We're going to raise funds for the people who volunteer for our program that normally don't get paid. For example, I got to shout out my drum instructor, Jay Robert. Everybody know he's a legend in the city. So I didn't forget the north side. I said south side. Somebody mute Ralph. But anyway, I said all that to say is like my drum
Focus,
instructor,
man.
Jay
Focus.
Yeah, I got you. Jay Robert, he's been volunteering at Worthing for over 14 years. This is his alma mater, but he loved and cared for his kids. And whatever I gave him was either out of my pocket or if we received donations and then we paid things off and we was blessed like that. But the people that volunteer at these schools, they need to be given their flowers while they're here. So that's the purpose of it. Give these kids the experience and honestly show that we do actually have unity in the city of Houston. Now, I'm a plant. I'm from Louisiana. I'm from New Orleans. But I will be wrong and I will be doing a disservice to the city of Houston. I'm a graduate of Prairie View A&M. This is my home as long as God has me to be here. So we're going to give back and we're going to give these kids an opportunity, give them a clinic for the week. And then honestly, there's stages to what we're doing. So maybe the North Side will be next year. But the whole point is to raise funds, to bless these people, to put money back in these accounts. Because honestly, if you're not trying to be self-sustaining at this particular point for what's going on in education, you're going to lose your program. So, of course, one of our mottos is to build better bands. So I decided to do that. And so be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for the flyer, as well as please make sure you like, subscribe, and share these podcasts on Talk That Talk. And then, as a selfless plug, the Worthing Marching Pride of Sunnyside Band is working with the Heart and Follow Consistory, because I am a traveling man as well. We're going to be having a double good popcorn sale, and all of the proceeds will go to the senior band students. Commitment fees cost. Travel to get to their dorm rooms cost. The items for their dorm rooms cost. The goal is $8,000 to $10,000. All of the money will go towards purchasing those students' dorm room items, commitment fees, band dues for that year. So when you see that flyer, when you see the link, just support it. So we got two big things coming up: the fundraiser and the Southside Band Clinic. That's my announcement.
So you heard it here first. He done gave you all that on the rundown, so you already know what's going down on the South Side already, baby. South Side still holding. But please make sure that you guys share this information out. You heard it here first. So if you know somebody that's in the city, has a student on the South Side or one of the schools that he named, man, let's go ahead and get them in, get them active. Let's get them activated, man, and go on and get them to be a part of this program. And you never know, man. I may pop up.
Pop up.
I may pop up. Yeah. So here's the thing: if I say that, Kuan gonna hold me to it.
Yeah, bro.
He gonna
Pop
hold me
up.
to it. And so
hey, you got a newborn, so it's like I'm trying to give you grace. So don't be saying that, bro.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, don't be saying that now.
But no, I think it's a great thing. And while you guys are in the giving mood, this hasn't stopped yet. So I just want to make sure that I put it out there too. Man, we got everything, man. So just continue to keep giving. All of the money that goes here actually goes to any student who is going to be going to an HBCU band program. Our job is that we want to make sure that the students can afford wherever they're going, because everybody ain't got the bread to do that. And just remember this, man, and we've said it multiple times, we don't have a cap. If you get 100, we gonna take that 100, we gonna put it in somebody's pocket. If we make it to 5,000, we're going to take that money, we're going to put it in somebody's pocket, because we want to make sure that students are able to go to somebody's university band program. And real talk, man, even after the conversation that we just had, a lot of people ain't giving out scholarships like that. Not everybody got it like that. And so if we have the opportunity to be able to give and support, we want to do that. So the link is inside of the description, so you can go ahead and check that out too. Man, we want to try to make sure we give it up.
Pause.
Man. Yeah, pause. I ain't been back to Mo City in a minute. Yeah. And I was just telling my wife the other day, I got to make a Frenchies run. It's been a while.
Say, hey, shout out to Frenchies, but I just discovered golden chicken. I don't know why y'all didn't tell me. Didn't tell me. You don't like golden chicken? Golden chicken.
In comparison
and Chicken Express?
Bro, I got a golden chick right up the street from my house. Look, like literally walking distance, bro. Ugh.
You don't like Chicken Express?
Even worse. Compared to French's?
So you would take French's over Bojangles? Cause I had
But
them
that's not. But
tenders.
that's not what the
Hey,
the
hold
question
on,
was.
hold on, Ralph. This is the first time you write tonight. Chicken Plus over
I've had
everybody.
Chicken Plus, and Chicken Plus was not on French's at all.
Hey, Justin said it though. That brother's chicken from the gas station in the 7 Ward right there by the bridge. Let me tell you something. I saw a throwback commercial for chicken in a box in New Orleans. I almost wrecked my car.
Now you talking about a whole bunch of stuff that I have no idea about, so that's fine.
Hey, Chicken Plus is
you
real.
started. I had chicken. You got to remember, I used to work at God dang it, can't even think of. What's the name of the daggone school? I ain't talking about Madison. Sorry, my wife is in the background. She'll Forest Brook. Yeah, you gotta remember I used to work at Forest Brook.
Chicken Plus is real, boy. You gotta wait all day.
It was cool. It just wasn't French's. It was cool though.
Wait, hold on.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why I thought Chicken Plus was good. So down the street from Forest Brook, they got them popping up in little like gas station areas. They got this place called Louisiana Chicken.
Oh, Louisiana Purchase.
Is that what it's? No, it's
Louisiana Chicken. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
You know, but yeah. So when I went to Chicken Plus, I was like, all right, this ain't too bad. So I went to the Louisiana spot, and I'm thinking that it's gonna be like comparable, or at least in between of whatever Chicken Plus and French's was. And I was let down.
Compared to that, yeah, but I mean I feel that, but that Chicken Plus, bro. But hold on, French's by TSU. You're speaking about the original one, not the new one. The new one is still good, but I'm talking about that King Special with that red Kool-Aid.
I don't get Kool-Aid no more.
No, I mean not what's that red soda? That red
soda. If it don't got a zero on it, so if it ain't something zero, then I don't touch it. But to answer your question, I'm gonna be real. It's some of them little French's daddies that's not the original that tastes better than the original.
Hey, that one in Katy, for sure.
There's one in Katy.
That one in Katy. Yeah, bro. They didn't franchise, bro. The one in Katy, for sure.
I know they didn't franchise, but because it was one before we moved. It was one that they put up in Cypress that we used to hit, and we was hey, listen.
Hey, question before we get off the show.
I just want to let everybody know this is the fattest conversation that we've had ever on this show.
Hey, question. Timmy Chain. I'm gonna pick 4 places. Real talk.
Okay.
All right. Timmy Chains.
Okay.
Off for MLK.
All right.
Or Burger Park.
I've never been to Burger Park.
All right.
What is Burger Park? What is it?
Burger Park is a burger place on the south side.
The Red Wagon?
Okay, no, that's off of Alameda.
Yeah.
But okay, so Red Wagon. So let's do Red Wagon.
Okay.
Timmy Chains cash only.
But that's 2 different things. Because if I go to Timmy Chains, listen.
Which one you picking?
Just off of
GP? You hungry?
I'm gonna go to Red Wagon. I'm gonna tell you why. Because the Timmy Chan's 6 wings and rice is not the same price it was when I left the city.
I'm not talking about price. You got the Funyuns. You got the money. Which one you picking, brother? Red Wagon or Timmy Chan's?
I'm sorry. Price weighs a lot for me. I'm sorry. I'm
paying for it. It doesn't matter.
All right, you paying for it. All right, let me think.
The 6 wings or Red Wagon.
Dang, I ain't had that 6 wings I ain't had that 6 wings of rice in a long time. But dang, man, that Red Wagon burger be hidden, dog.
Red Wagon burgers like Burger Park.
Well, I may be going to Red Wagon, dog. That Red Wagon burger be hidden, dog.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Okay, last one.
I'm sorry, dog. That Red Wagon burger be hidden.
Hey, just oxtails.
I don't know what that is.
Right,
what is just oxtails? Is this new? Is this a new place?
It's not. It's not, bro. It's not.
Where's
It's
Just
not.
Oxtails?
What I realize is I'm almost like a Southside guy at this particular point. So all the hood spots is like
Where's Just Oxtails? Where is it?
it's across the street from Worthing. You got to
Oh,
realize,
that's
bro.
why.
Yeah, when I first got here and I was bringing the band back and I would wear Worthing shirts in the neighborhood, they'd be like, I marched for the March in 100. And they would give me free food. And that's why I gained all that weight.
But see,
My face was like I was swollen.
But see, that's the difference, right? Like I'm not. I never had to go over in that area. And what's crazy is I used to live off of Alameda.
Yeah, you tripping. You're not from Missouri City, bro. You from A-Leaf somewhere.
Who said I was from Mo City?
You're not from Missouri City?
I ain't from Mo City.
Where you from?
I'm from the Southwest side, bro. I was born and raised and off of Fondren Creek Bend.
Damn, I don't even know who you are. I don't even know who you are,
bro.
You'd have been in my house, and I thought you were from Mo City.
Listen, let me give you the history of Luke. I was born on the north side. I went to Conley Elementary. Yes, I went to Conley Elementary. I moved and went to Anderson Elementary, while my mom worked at Westbury, and then went from there to AA Mill, and then went from there to Welch Middle School. Used my brother's best friend's address to go to Willow Ridge. I was actually zoned to Sharpstown.
It's somebody saying
I ain't know. First of all, Fresno ain't even exist when I was at Fresno. Didn't exist.
Shout out to Fresno. Shout out to Creekmont.
Sienna Park wasn't even a thing until I got to Willow Ridge. Man, come on now. Listen, the reality.
I thought you were from Hunters Glen. I ain't trying to be funny.
Nah.
Hey. Number 4. Number 4.
Hey, listen, I it's all good. I pride myself on being where I'm from. I ain't tripping. And I just don't know it. I never had no reason to go over by Worthing. Like real talk. Cause I used to go to, so where I live, we lived in the trailer park off of Alameda, not too far from Harlem Clark and all that kind of stuff. So I would be all up in there in Harlem Clark. And we used to go shopping at the Pie Burns right across the street and then go get them boudin balls over there.
Was Joe V's in existence when you was over there?
No.
Oh, Joe V's must, yeah.
Well, it's not over there now?
Yeah, Joe V. Hey, I shop at the Joe V.
My dad shop at, every time I talk to my dad, he be like, yo, you got to go to Joe V's, man. They got all deals. I'm like, hey.
Yeah, bro. Hey, real talk, Joe. Hey, you trying to barbecue, bro? I ain't trying to be funny. And it's like,
he said it got all the meats. Pause.
It do. But hey, that Mexican bread that be in that morning, hot. You know what I'm saying? Hot. I'm just saying, bro. But we got to get out here. I got to get out to school, bro.
Oh, no. You stay there until the alarm go off.
I said, bro, I'm about to hang up. I gotta go.
All right, man. We gotta shut this thing down. But this has been a super dope episode. I can tell you right now, I'd have been all up through Mo City too. Everybody want to talk about me. I done been up through there. I remember I missed the Little Frenches that used to be there last time I went there. It's not even Little Frenches anymore. God, yeah, dang, that hurts.
Wait, they still got the one off by 59, like Frenchies? By the gas station. Yeah, they had one right next to the subway at the gas station at the front by 59 and like Belford.
I think I know what you're talking about. I think me and the wife pulled up at that one. They said they was close. Is that the one we pulled up at?
The one across the street from the smoke shop.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think that's the one we pulled up at, and they was like, "Yeah, we closed." I think that was it. I think that was the one.
Man, yeah, that one used to slap.
Yeah, but yeah, we gotta get ready to go because I don't want to keep this man in the building all day. But again, this episode has been super dope, man. Again, we will be back in the next 2 weeks. But outside of that, man, come on, we need to continue to pull the city together. I definitely agree. So remember what he said. He got this thing going on the south side. Remember, it's still holding. That he said, nope, it's a taco place now. I told you last time I went, I think they said that it was tight. We pulled up and we were looking for it. Yeah, but whatever.
All right. But shout out to Sugar Rush. Still holding. Sugar Rush still holding. we need to promote black businesses on here.
I agree. I ain't gonna. We'll talk about that on next episode. I'll write that down because I don't disagree with that, but There's some things about it, but we'll talk about it. Other than that, man, we appreciate y'all, man. We'll see you guys next time. This has been super dope episode, all that good stuff. We'll holler at you later.